Hello, it's great to have you join me right here on Voice of the People TV. My name is Kizuke. Let's talk about sports, but a whole lot of controversial talks ongoing at the moment. Maybe not a good story for Simona Halep, who has been, she's been on the news in the world of tennis over time, and also there's Serena Williams, who should have won her 8th-time Grand Slam title. Talk about the Wimbledon, she never got it, and she got just 7. And it was about Simona Halep stopping her from emerging as 8-time champion. A whole lot of tweet on the X handle, which we know right now, away from Twitter now, X has come to, say they are not happy that legendary like Serena Williams have come to shade or possibly dig on Simona Halep. But away from that, let's talk about the home soil story first of all, where Super Eagles coach Jose Peseiro says he's optimistic that the Super Eagles have what it takes to win the 23 African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast coming up. So we have to wait to know what happens. Now recall that Nigeria finished as group leaders with a 15 points from 6 matches ahead of Guinea-Bissau, and both countries will now be playing just at the international level for Ivory Coast come January 2024. So Peseiro, he has been in the news. The Portuguese tactician who recently accepted a pay cut in a bid to remain as coach after the senior national team. In the chat, we report that his desire is to win the 23 AFCON, and he said that's his main priority behind the decision. Now, moving on Jose Peseiro, the Portuguese tactician, he said, let me quote him right now. He said, me and my staff did everything in order to stay here to train these players and reach the big goal. Win the AFCON title, Peseiro told reports. The question is he really going to do well? Time will tell. We'll have to wait to know what comes up next, if Peseiro will be the man to make us win it. Now, the 63-year-old recently penned a new 6-year deal that will expire at the end of 23 African Cup of Nations, set to be hosted by Ivory Coast between January 13th to February 11th. And that's for Jose Peseiro. Now, let's talk about one lady who I love to say she's a legend in the game, but she's just 29. I don't know why she has retired. Super Falcons striker Desire Okparanosey has announced her retirement from professional football. The 29-year-old also made this announcement on her X handle on Wednesday, so we are not going to be seeing Desire Okparanosey play again. So this one sounds emotional. Let me quickly share with you now. She said, right, to my fans, family, and friends, thank you for the show of love and support over the years. It's time to take a bow, as I believe there is no better time than now. I'm officially announcing my retirement from professional football for both club and country. To every team and coach I've played for, to every mate I have played against, played alongside, and to every opponent I have played against. Thank you for being part of this incredible journey. Coming from Desire Okparanosey. She says, thank you, football. Thank you, Nigeria. Okparanosey started her football career, you need to know, back at Bayelsa Queens in the Nigerian Women Championship, and also moved later on to Delta Queens back in 2010. She then spent 2 months on loan at Adivasela Lisespor in Turkey. That was Turkish Women First Football League in 2011 before returning back to Delta Queens again. Her last club was China's Women's Super League club, Wuhan Jianghang University. At international level, she represented Nigeria at the 2010 FIFA World Cup. That's FIFA World Cup 2010, where the Falconets reached the final and then lost 2-0 to host country Germany, and that's for Okparanosey. She also made her debut for the Super Falcons in the 2010 and scored 22 goals in total of 5 appearances. And Okparanosey was part of the Super Falcons team under the Wild Drum, the squad that went on to play at the Women's African Cup of Nations back in 2010, 2014, 2016, 2018 respectively. I'm not sure she was involved in this recent World Cup that just was concluded. That's Australia and New Zealand. But still talking about this lady, Okparanosey, legendary of the game. She also featured at 4 FIFA Women's World Cup back in 2011, 2015, 2019, and 2023. I wish her all the very best. Life has got in stock. That's just my wish for her. Now, away from that, next on the world of Formula One leader Max Verstappen, the Dutchman, will have to win where he has never won before to continue his record in Singapore this weekend. We have to wait to know what happens. Now, Marina Bay is not one of the 23 circuits where Red Bull double world champion has stood on top of the podium and past performances to give hope to rival Aga to end his domination. Max Verstappen is on an unprecedented 10-race winning streak, but last year's finished 7th on the streets of Singapore, while the Mexican teammate Sergio Perez triumphed ahead of the 2 Ferrari drivers. So on Max Verstappen, Singapore is probably going to be the most challenging weekend for the upcoming guys, and also the races of the stake are very high on a street circuit, and the field is usually very close. Not to mention the heat and the humidity, said Max Verstappen. And also Perez, you need to know, also can celebrate his 25th Formula One start on Sunday by reducing Verstappen 145 points, lead with 8 rounds remaining at the circuit, where passing is tricky. The walls is unfortunately, and safety cars are frequently deployed. And that's for Formula One. Now, you need to know qualifying is a crucial one, and the weather report also points to some rain. And we have to know what comes up if Max Verstappen will happen to, give himself that very much record. Now, let's talk about golf. Moving on to the world of golf, Rory McIlroy is happy to take on the older brother role for the Team Europe this month. When you talk about golf, you would know we have legends in the game. That is a Rory McIlroy, that's a DeChambeau, that's a Scottish Scheffler, that's the #1 in the world. 15-time major champion as well, Tiger Woods, all of these guys making names for themselves. But right now, I'm talking about Rory McIlroy, who is happy to take on the older brother role for Team Europe this month and insists there will be no hierarchy within the Ryder Cup side in Rome. McIlroy will make his 7th consecutive appearance in the Albania contest October 4th at the Mark Simon GC Live, according to reports, where Europe will be looking to avenge their record-breaking 19-9 loss to Team USA in 2021. Now, the former world #1 has played more Ryder Cup than any player involved in this year's contest, and is also the 3rd oldest member of Luke Donald's lineup, only behind Shane Lowry and Justin Rose, making McIlroy one of the senior figures in the European team. The 4-time major winner joined Donald, the rest of the team, and vice-captain for the scouting mission to the Ryder Cup venue on Monday, with the trip only getting McIlroy excited further about representing the team in Europe in the coming week. Now, Europe team has undergone significant change since 2021, with 5 members of that side joining from the LRV Golf, while Rory McIlroy hopes the team trip will help embed the more inexperienced players also on the Ryder Cup fold. McIlroy and John Ram are the 2 highest ranked players in the Europe team, with Spaniard also playing down and defining roles for the more experienced player in Donald lineup. And that's the news for Rory McIlroy. But let's talk about football now. One man in the news: Italy midfielder Marco Verratti has left. The bad news, for PSG. Regardless, I understand how it works though. Italy midfielder Marco Verratti has left Paris Saint-Germain to join Qatari side Al Arabi, the League One side, and this was announced on Wednesday. Verratti signed a 3-year deal with the Qatar side League club, who also paid reportedly for the €5 million for the 30-year-old, according to Italian media. Verratti has never played in Italy Serie A, joined Paris Saint-Germain in 2012 from his hometown Pescara. The League One side paid €12 million for then 19-year-old Marco Verratti. In 11 seasons at PSG, Marco Verratti played 416 matches, making him the club record highest appearance maker behind Jean-Marc Pillard 435. He also helped Paris Saint-Germain win 9 league titles, a record in League One, alongside with 6 French clubs and cups. Now, Verratti has not been part of a new manager's Luis Enrique's plan following the recent departure of players the likes of Lionel Messi, Neymar, and Mauro Icardi. Verratti has won 55 international caps, scoring 3 goals. He was in the Italy squad who won the Euro 2020, starting the final in which they beat England in a penalty shootout. Al Arabi finished runner-up in the Tour Dali in last season Qatar Star League, and also started the season with 3 draws. The Qatari transfer window remains open until September 18th. Now, Marco Verratti. Let me talk about Marco a little bit before we move on to the Poland issue or story. Marco Verratti has literally won everything that a player needs to win at club level. I'll tell you, he has emerged champion. He's an Italian international, never was part of the Serie A league side. He was born from Pescara and he left at a very young time. At 19, he was always playing for Paris Saint-Germain. And looking at his accolades over time and what he's got to the table, you would agree that the Italian international player has decided to make a move, which for me, I would say it's ideal he takes that bow. Now, quickly coming up next is Poland, who have parted ways to Portuguese coach Fernando Santos following their 2-0 defeat about Albania, which left them struggling to qualify for the Euro 2024. The Polish Football Association, PZPN, said on Wednesday Santos, who won Euro 26 with Portugal, has been in charge since January, succeeding Slow Marcin Weiss, who was sacked following Poland elimination at the Qatar World Cup, where they lost to France in the last 16. Now, Poland are 4th in qualifying Group E with 6 points from 5 games. They have 4 points behind leaders Albania and 2 points behind second place Czech Republic and Moldova, respectively. After the defeat in Tirana on Sunday, Santos said he was not considering resigning. Poland lost 3-1 to Czech Republic in Santos' first game in charge, their opening Euro 24 qualifier, before beating Albania. Before being beaten, Albania won them 1-0. They defeated Germany as well in June friendly before leading Sleep to 2-0 halftime lead against Moldova and losing 3-2 They struggled to beat Faroes Island 2-0 in a penalty from Robert Lewandowski in the 73rd minute, breaking the deadlock against the side ranked 129th in the world. Poland traveled to Faroes Island in October, followed by a home game against Moldova. So it's not a story for me, right? I feel like the talk is about his signing. The contract doesn't look friendly. Fernando Santos, the Euro 2016 winner with Portugal. We know the rivalry fight he had with Ronaldo at some point, and everybody felt like he needed to make a move. Now he felt like the Poland side or Polish side are the better side where he could manage. But 6 games, 3 wins, 3 losses doesn't sound cool for the Portuguese man. Right now he's out of the club, out of club football, out of country football. He's not even managing any team. So we have to wait to know if he's really going to clinch his hand on any of this managerial role. But I believe he's a good manager. No disrespect to Fernando Santos, but Poland, I want to say they did not do him well. Yeah, that's just what it is. Now let's talk about the Camp Nou. The Catalonian side, Barcelona fullback João Cancelo have disclosed that he will work extremely hard to explode at Camp Nou. Recall that Cancelo joined Barca from Manchester City in the summer of just last season after leaving from Bayern Munich on loan. Now, however, in the chat, he stated he's ready to prove his quality with the club. I'm going to go do my best with everything I can do to explode at Barca. I will try to show my football, my quality, but always with the help of my team because I need it. And I think we have a lot of quality in the squad. Hopefully, it will be a great season coming from João Cancelo. It's a very young team. Some of the players like Ferran Torres or Elke Gundogan, I already knew. They all welcome me warmly, and they are spectacular guys. We can only achieve great things by forming a great group coming from João Cancelo. He said the coach gives me a bit of freedom, and I like that. I feel comfortable playing on the inside and also on the outside. I will adapt to whatever asks of me. Whatever is asked of me, that's from João Cancelo. João Cancelo, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Javi Hernandez, the players, the way they play, the style of play, would it really work out for him? They've got nice pairings. Christensen, Jose Conde, Marcos Alonso, João Cancelo, Araujo, the midfield, Frenkie, Gavi, Pedri, all of these guys, great players. You want to talk about the other guy, Lamine Yamal, making a name for himself. Ousmane Dembele has left for, Paris Saint-Germain. Ferran Torres, great player. Ansu Fati left for Brighton. All of these guys have been amazing over time. So I believe, personally, my opinion, though, that this man would do well at Barcelona. I wish him all the very best. Now, next on, Tottenham Hotspur forward, Richarlison. I've talked about this all the time. I feel like Richarlison needs a psychologist. Maybe a therapy would do, right? Tottenham Hotspur forward Richarlison has revealed that he is going to seek the assistance of a psychologist after he returns to England following the international break last Saturday. The 26-year-old was in tears after being subbed off following the underwhelming performance in Brazil's 5-1 victory over Bolivia. He attributed the reaction to getting the things that were happening on the pitch and out of the system. He said, I went through a turbulent time off the pitch during this past 5 months. Richarlison told Brazilian newspaper, now things are a bit more stable at home. People who only had their eyes on my money are no longer close to me. Things are going flow now, and I'm certain that I will have a good run at Tottenham, and I will also make things happen again. I'm going to return to England and seek a psychological help from a psychologist to strengthen my mind. That is what I'm about to do to come back stronger. The former Everton man squandered a fantastic opportunity against Bolivia after being replaced in the 74th minute. He was substituted as well in the 64th minute into Tuesday's 1-0 victory over Peru in Lima. Richarlison joined Spurs last summer on a €60 million from Everton, and he has failed to live up to the price tag as he has scored just 4 goals in 40 games. Brazilian side are now wanting inspiration and frame of mind to turn out well for Tottenham in the 23-24 campaign, in which he has scored 1 goal from 5 games so far. He netted a measly 3 goals in 35 games for Spurs across all competition, while he has fired blank in 4 Premier League games so far in the new campaign. Richarlison scored in Spurs defeated Fulham in the EFL second round on August 29. This match ended in the 5-3 penalties after 1-1 was the scoreline in regulation time. Moving on, Ange Postecoglou, the manager of Tottenham Hotspur, left him on the bench when Spurs defeated Burnley at the Tottenham side before the latest international break came up. Up next for Spurs, who are currently second in the Premier League table with 10 points from 4 matches, is home game against Sheffield United on Saturday, September 16, 2023. Richarlison, I don't know what to say about him, but I would just say he's not in the right frame of mind. It got me stuttering, right, because I really understand what he's really going through. He said, I'm going to be talking to the media when I return from international break. And of course, I really feel this hard time he says some things to the media, or possibly say it out just the way he feels. because he's not having a good time at Tottenham Hotspur. 4 goals in 40 games, that's absolutely shambolic for me to say. Now, next time, wrapping up the show, let's talk about Manchester United, who have announced a bomber sponsorship deal with US-based Qualcomm Technologies, whose Snapdragon brand will replace the TeamViewer logo on their shirt from next season. The Premier League club, who did not reveal the financial detail of the deal, were reportedly targeting an agreement worth around £60 million, approximately $75 million per year. Okay, now it's understood that figure equals or even surpasses the previous biggest shirt deal in football history. Qualcomm has been one of the United global partners since last year. United have not won the Premier League since former manager Alex Ferguson retired back in 2013. Now, Erik ten Hag team have just 2 of their 4 league matches this season, with fans voicing their frustration at the unpopular owners talking about the Glazers. Now, United share price tumbled last week after reports that the Glazers had halted plans to sell the club. Now, Snapdragon processors feature in smartphones, PCs, virtual reality system, and also gaming devices. Lastly, international news to wrap up the show. England coach Gareth Southgate has condemned the ridiculous criticism and boos aimed at Harry Maguire in a 3-1 friendly win over Ukraine on Tuesday, September 12 at the Hampden Park. Man City forward Phil Foden scored the first goal of the game for England in the 32nd minute of the first half. Jude Bellingham also made it 2-0 just 3 minutes later. Maguire came on as a substitute for Mark Gay in the 46th minute and scored an own goal in the 67th minute. Bad one, I know. England captain Harry Kane made 3-1 in the 81st minute of the encounter. Maguire was booed and jeered by Scotland fans before he scored the own goal and also after the goal. Speaking to reports condemned the constant and insistent boos and jeers that Maguire has been subjected to. It's a joke, Southgate told report. I've known a player treated like this. He is not the Scottish fans, but our own commentators, the pundit. Whatever it is, he's beyond anything I have ever seen. He's been an absolute stalwart for us and in the second most successful England team for a decade. Well, there's no time to keep talking about this story. It looks very lengthy, but let me quickly let you know that Harry Maguire is being booed by the Scottish side, and it's just what it is. I wish he never played the game. Sincerely, he's really going through a lot. Everybody's really booing him, and maybe a West Ham move for the transfer would have been okay, but of course he decided to stay back with the Man United side. The question is, does Erik ten Hag have him in his plans? Time will tell on that. Thank you so much for sticking around with me. Thank you so much for stopping by, staying with me. Don't go anywhere. More interesting programs coming your way. But it's time for me to leave now. My name is Kizzy K. This is the Spotlight, the show that comes your way every weekday. Stay with us. Go nowhere. Peace out.